They say out there that cells don't have emotions. Shall we learn a little about the nervous system?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Hello students and all you curious folks out there. My name is Tarek, and today we're going to talk about the nervous system. The first part is about the cells that make up the nervous system. Joking aside from the start of the lesson, this system is super important for coordinating all the other systems in our body. It controls and encodes both internal and external stimuli, and forms our thoughts. It's made up of highly specialized cells called neurons. In a large animal, neurons can reach up to 1 meter in length. There are also nerve cells whose only function is to provide physical and nutritional support to these neurons. This group is called neuroglia, or glial cells, and they are extremely numerous. All of these specialized nerve cells, whether they are neurons or supporting glial cells, are constantly bathed in an essential interstitial or cerebrospinal fluid. Glial cells do not generate or conduct nerve impulses. They communicate through a structure called gap junctions. These cells are more numerous than neurons, with a ratio of about 3:1, and they come in various different shapes, some smaller than neurons, others larger, though most are smaller. And of course, each one of them has its own function. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of them. There are cells called astrocytes. They provide physical support for neurons, guiding and helping to establish the correct connections between them. They are especially important during embryonic development. They also perform phagocytosis of cellular particles and dendrites. They are also an essential blood-brain barrier, effectively safeguarding the brain from various toxic substances carried by the blood. In addition, they maintain the proper ionic conditions for neurons. We also have specialized cells known as microglia, which are responsible for performing phagocytosis of cellular particles and waste debris around the neuron. We also have Schwann cells, which provide essential electrical insulation for neurons, or parts of them, with myelin, which effectively gives them a white coloration. These cells are primarily located and distributed in the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system of vertebrates. In addition, they also provide nutrients to the neurons. We also have oligodendrocytes, which are functionally very similar to Schwann cells. To put it another way, they also form myelin sheaths. But while Schwann cells make myelin sheaths exclusively for the peripheral axons, oligodendrocytes are responsible for producing them for the rest of the neuron whenever myelin is needed in those other parts. It's important to note that astrocytes exist only in the central nervous system, and they have elaborate extensions that give them a somewhat star-shaped appearance. Schwann cells are primarily situated and found in the central nervous system, and microglia, named for their small size, actually originate directly from hematopoietic cells and share distinctive characteristics, with macrophages found in body tissues, so they are present throughout all nervous tissue. Besides these glial cells, we also have another very important cell, which is the neuron, and the neuron is made up of several parts. We have the central cell body, which constitutes the vast majority of its total size. It contains the nucleus and various organelles because it is highly active in synthesizing chemical molecules known as neurotransmitters. There are no centrioles in the cell because they do not divide. A group of cell bodies, when located outside the central nervous system, is called a ganglion. There are also cellular extensions that come out of the cell body and go in the opposite direction from it. These extensions connect one neuron to another. They can reach up to 10,000 contact points. There are two types of extensions. Dendrites, which are usually numerous, are specialized in conducting nerve impulses to the cell body, serving as the entry point for signals into the neuron. And axons, which are usually one per neuron, are specialized in conducting the impulse. Starting from the cell body, in other words, they are the exit points for the neuron signal. Each individual axon will have terminal branches, which are known as telodendria, which connect in turn to various other neurons or muscle cells to form synapses. These endings can be extremely long, like those of axons, surrounded by connective tissues. Axons are also closely surrounded by specialized glial cells, which are either Schwann cells or oligodendrocytes. In this way, there can be myelinated axons, which possess a distinct white appearance due to the thick insulating myelin sheath. This lipid sheath, which we call the myelin sheath, is produced by Schwann cells. This sheath is only interrupted where there are nodes of Ranvier, which separate two continuous Schwann cells. The myelin sheath is also important in the repair of neurons that have been damaged. These axons are predominant in the central nervous system and are extremely fast in conducting nerve signals. It's worth noting that the node of Ranvier is the part between the two myelin sheaths. We also have unmyelinated axons, which have a grayish appearance because Schwann cells do not produce myelin, and they are generally associated with the autonomic nervous system of vertebrates. They are much slower in conducting nerve signals. This type of axon is common in invertebrates, so we can conclude that one of the main things the myelin sheath does is increase the speed of nerve signals between neurons. Besides that, neurons can be classified based on their shape, and there are neurons that are multipolar, meaning they have more than two cellular extensions. And generally, most of the neurons in our body are of this type. We have bipolar neurons, which have one dendrite and one axon. We have pseudo-unipolar axons, which have a single extension coming out of the cell body that later splits into two branches. One of the branches acts as a dendrite and the other as an axon. And we have unipolar neurons, which have only one axon. They can also be categorized according to their specific function, which means we have sensory or afferent neurons, which receive various stimuli produced outside the body and bring them into the body. We have motor or efferent neurons, which carry and transmit nerve impulses to the glands, smooth muscles, and striated muscles. Additionally, we have interneurons, which are those that connect one neuron to another, primarily located within the central nervous system. Don't forget that this is only the very first part of this lesson. We have more to talk about regarding the nervous system. Stay tuned for part 2.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and share, and remember that we have a new video every week, so subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to always get the latest updates. Thank you so much.